Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 season has come to an end, regular season-wise, but now the 14 best teams in the NFL have now made it to January. It's the postseason, and obviously it's postseason time for us because we are For the Fan. I am Will. We got Jake and we got Dom. Hello, gentlemen.
What's up?
We'll be hearing from Colton in a second here, but I just want to shout out the things because I forgot them last week on the top of the show. Follow us on YouTube, For the Fan Network, TikTok, For the Fan Network. We have 300 followers on TikTok. Get us up more. X, For the Fan _, and Instagram, For the Fan Football. Week 18, it's the week of not benchings, but resting a lot of players if you don't have that, number one seed, first round bye, just, the luck of the draw, as you say. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the entire week. I thought it was a really good week overall for at least the teams to have something to fight for.
The teams that were fighting had great games, I think, right? I mean, we watched Indianapolis, Houston have a great game. We watched
the Jaguars blow it. I mean,
yeah, that was.
I was going to say that as a joke, but
Miami and Buffalo.
Derrick Henry had a great game.
Derrick Henry did have a great game.
And his maybe farewell game from Tennessee. Who knows?
His farewell game.
Miami and Buffalo had a good game. The Saints and the Falcons, that was something.
A
lot of things.
The Cardinals with one of the wildest fake field goals of all time, and I still don't know what happened there. I really don't. But that was one of the most wildest plays from the season. And also Jonathan Gannon. It took him till 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter to throw the very first challenge flag of the year for the Cardinals. He almost tied Tony Dungy, who notoriously did not throw a challenge flag at all in one of his seasons of coaching. I think it was like 2003, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, he would have made NFL history if he did not throw that challenge flag.
The Rams and the Niners with backups, they had a decent game too. Yeah, I mean, for the teams that were in and on the fringe, they had good games.
Yeah.
So that's all you want. It's like there were playoff games in week 18, and that's all you could ask for. So
we have Sandy asking, where's Colton? And he's currently in Florida right now, but he decided to leave us with some parting videos as he's enjoying, I have to assume, warm weather. I don't know if that cold front's down there and it's like, really cold in Florida or not. I would have to think it's at least cold for Florida standards.
So what?
60. 60's cold.
They're in their parkas and stuff, wool coats and all that. But yes, here's Colton explaining where he is.
All right, boys. I'm sorry I cannot be at the show today, so I'm gonna make a quick video on a little mini trip with the fiance. First, I want to shout out Michigan. Holy crap, national champions! Can't believe they actually pulled it off. So pumped. Got to represent the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, boys. And by the way, I will gladly take my champion crown. It's a shame I cannot be here today to accept my award as the most wins this season. Again, sorry, Will. And Dom, my goodness, what a choke job. Oh, God, kid. But my picks for this weekend, so you can play this at the end of the show. Of course, I'm taking the Steelers this week. Of course, go Bird. I'm taking the Finns this week. Taking Dallas this week. Who else? Who else am I taking this week?
He sent the second video for his pick, so we'll play that when the pick segment comes around. But it was just I didn't want to edit that out. I just felt like, what, let's just keep it in there.
Even in video form, he goes too long.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, though. Like in the background, the sea shanty thing going on is pretty funny.
I wonder if he's wearing khakis in honor of John Harbaugh.
That'd be khakis at Disneyland World.
I think he's at Universal too.
Sure.
I don't even. What the hell did I just do? Okay, I figured it out. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We're going to get right into the show here. You are listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
Yeah, so we're 3/4 impaired this week. I mean, Colton at least gets to enjoy a vacation, so I have to say that off the top of the show because it's just funny.
No, I would say
We're even more impaired because Colton's not here.
100% impaired, but 3/4 the people is really what it is. Still always 100% impaired though.
But yes, so Monday honestly starts a sad day in the NFL. You see people lose their jobs, and it's a very unfortunate situation to really talk about for a lot of these people because you don't want to see people end up, being jobless at the end of the day because it takes a lot to get to the NFL and just simple stuff you can honestly just end up losing it. So let's talk about the head coaching opening. So we knew from before the season ended, we had 3 job openings. We had the Panthers with Frank Reich, who only lasted 11 games. Josh McDaniels got canned right before the trade deadline ish. And then everyone's favorite Brandon Staley unfortunately got canned, even though his team put up 21 points in a losing effort on a Thursday night football game.
There's one more that we knew of though, and that would be Washington as well with Ron Rivera.
Yes, we knew
as well.
Well, it's still not closed.
Yeah, so we have Washington, and then we have the Falcons as well. And over the last 24 hours, a little over 26 hours, Mike Vrabel got canned, which is an absolute shock. It sent shockwaves through the NFL. And then Pete Carroll, who has gotten canned in a weird way, if you want to say, because he's not fired. I don't know if you want to consider it a promotion.
Mutual
fired.
It's like a mutual resignation for promotion, I guess, in a way. It's really just to go up to
be a fired, but also promoted.
We're assuming that because
assuming.
So
what? 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just all over the place there, but yeah. So after the season, so Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll, question marks around Bill Belichick, maybe question marks around Mike McCarthy. Maybe Todd Bowles. There's a lot of question marks that still go on with if any playoff coaches end up getting fired after their playoff run exits.
Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
All the coordinators.
All the coordinators, yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're gone.
There's
just that there's a lot of, I would say, dumb radio callers calling for Sirianni's job.
Yeah, I would say for, let's see, Belichick, the last I know, it seems to be like he's probably out. The last I know is Bill basically was like, hey, Robert Kraft, it's in your lap, whatever you decide, I'm game with. So I don't know if it's, there's do we strip him of GM and get a GM and keep him coach? Do we just buy? I don't know. They're working it out. I don't know what it is. It's technically not anything yet, but
all I remember is that report after the Germany game, where the Colts game, where it's like barring a miracle, he's gonna be gone.
So I don't know. We'll see. I would go with a solid 85% Bills gone at the moment. So.
I know they've been having their meetings this week, and I know it's not like how Kraft and Belichick have their meetings. It's not like, oh, hey, here's just one meeting, and they just kind of call it quits after the season. Mm-hmm. They usually have it's kind of like throughout the week they'll have different stuff set up. But in Belichick's press conference on Monday, he's mentioned a lot about he's still under contract, and he doesn't bring up his contract at all. He never does. So it's odd that he brings up I'm still under contract with the team. I'm here trying to make the team as playable as they can get. Yeah. It goes through all that. So it's just, to me, it's weird that he did bring up his contract, and you don't know his contract. It's just always like a question mark of what goes on. How long is he under contract for? How much money does he make? He never comes out and asks about, details it.
The contract part matters as far as, is it going to be, it could be technically a firing, a mutual parting ways. It could be a trading a head coach kind of deal. If Robert Kraft wants to get something out of it, so there are, that's why the contract part at least matters. And that's probably why Bill's talking about it too, because
also if you fire him, you have to pay him the money.
Yeah. But again, maybe Mr. Kraft wants to get something out of Bill leaving, so maybe trading him might be the move. But I would think at that point too, since they have such a great relationship, it would be if they were going to trade Bill to the team, Bill wouldn't want it too much to be gone from the team he's going to. So I would assume it wouldn't be insane, considering their relationship and how it's going so far. So I don't know. I mean, it could be anything could work out in any way. It seems like.
And you also have the Washington. You have the Commanders too, who on Monday, after they fired Riverboat Ron and just kind of like not clear house, but they're getting ready to try to figure out who's going to be next under this new regime of coaching. They hired the Golden State Warriors GM, the mastermind behind all those championship runs that they've had. They hired him. They hired Rick Spielman, who's the former Vikings GM, who was there for 20 years and helps to find a head of football operations and a head coach. They're trying to run that and get that under situation and whatnot.
I don't know how I feel about that, but that might not be the worst.
They're not going to be there like, oh, hey, in the season, like, oh, hey, like, we're kind of going to be around. There's just like, hey, they're going to help out with this hiring process.
They're brought in consultants to help get the hires.
Yeah. I mean,
so like Bob Myers is still going to appear on like ESPN or wherever he appears on for like, his TV personality persona. But I don't know. I would have to think the Washington opening is probably the most intriguing considering no Dan Snyder.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. I've heard that
you got,
but like
you have the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, but you don't have
the Chargers, who set up the only one here in this group of teams that have.
But if it's like if you want to be a coach where you want to bring in, here's my quarterback. That's kind of like what they want.
But then you got.
I'm not saying like, oh hey, you go to the Chargers, like oh hey, you got to trade away Herbert
in shambles.
Not just any coach could step in. It's a huge overtaking to do all those things. Look what happened for the Panthers, So, I mean, stepping into the Chargers deal where they seemingly have team with talent on it on both sides of the ball. You have, I don't know what's going on with Kellen if he's being interviewed for the head coach job, but that's the only one of these teams with a franchise quarterback established. So, I mean, I got to think that makes such a, that would definitely be the most intriguing to me.
And you have the number 5 pick too. So you can end up getting maybe a Joe Alt, maybe the kid from Penn State. Or if you want to honestly go out, just get Brock Bowers out of Georgia and just say, you know what, we're just going to be, throwing the ball every play.
There's also Raiders, interviewed, I think, Telesco for that GM job, which is, I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, he was a longtime Chargers guy, so it's like,
yeah.
I don't know if they've interviewed Pierce for the head coaching position. I don't know if they did. I haven't seen anything about that.
I know about a lot of stuff about him and going back to the Giants.
But
the
Titans said the Titans are asking to interview him for head coach, and I got to think that Pierce would take a head coach job over a DC job. So kind of might have just taken the Giants thing.
I honestly believe if the Raiders offered him the job, I don't think there's any other job that even matters to him.
No, I think he would want that job. The Raiders should want him to want that job, but we know the history of Mark Davis and how that goes.
Right now, Mark Davis is fully Mark Davis and wanting Harbaugh.
So
I mean, and that's also, the number 1 person out there.
Yeah.
Like, you got a guy who has won in the NFL level, played in the NFL level, and he's just been in college the last 10 years.
There's a lot of
York.
There's a lot of things on the table right now. A lot of people, a lot of jobs, openings on the table. You have Wink Martindale just kind of like technically.
Oh, he officially got fired.
He's gone.
So he's officially been fired. He didn't resign. Yeah, this is like 2 hours within the last 2 hours. So he's officially been fired from the Giants. He probably told, Dable to go F himself. He probably told the rest of the Giants to as well.
Confirmed. I think it's pretty confirmed that he did.
And Wink Martindale has a couple connections down I-95 to
he was like basically like already penciled in. I mean, I kind of want Vrabel to be in the building. I kind of want Vrabel in the building real bad.
I think Vrabel. I mean, I don't know what you consider with Jim Harbaugh and how that is and everything right now, but other than him, I would say Vrabel is easily the number 2, and if Harbaugh's not even on the table, number 1 is Vrabel.
Oh, Harbaugh is definitely on the table.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
right?
Harbaugh. I mean,
you
won the national championship. Like, what else do you really need to prove?
Well, besides wanting to continue to win in his alma mater, I honestly believe that there are heavy NCAA sanctions coming down that he's going to bail from.
Yeah, and then boom. Why not step up into being an NFL head coach?
You got to imagine some heavy scholarship losses at the very least, if not vacating the title.
Even what
Trap.
bowl game,
Yeah,
stuff
there's
like
going to
that.
be ramifications, and depending on how bad they sound like they're going to be, he just is going to split like he did from Stanford.
Skedaddle. But anyway, I mean, like Vrabel is obviously a great choice for a lot of these teams.
Hey, you see it from a lot of people. Everyone really respected him. There's no one that hated him. There's really no one that hated Vrabel. So it's it's beneficial for them. So, and if Belichick was to leave
might
too,
have
I
been-
mean that's going to be another. That's probably your top three and
There might have been
experiences.
one or two people that didn't like Vrabel that much, and that's why he's not there anymore. But other than that, it seems like he's very respected. Seems like he's very well liked. Seems like he could still do a lot for a lot of teams. I mean, we saw him last week. He was all, he was up in arms in that press conference saying like losing effing sucks. What do you want from me kind of attitude. And then they go and then they shut down a division rival and just straight kick them out of playoffs. So, I mean, like for that to happen and then just say, oh yeah, nah, we don't want you is wild. Obviously, he's got so much in the tank, and he kind of knows what he's doing. So,
And as we said in the preseason, like wins with the sum more than the sum of his parts. Like that's like honestly, I like what I was saying earlier about Sirianni. Like, if it wasn't for the sheer talent of coaching out there this season, I wouldn't even consider it.
Yeah, but there is.
I think every coach in the league is honestly on the hot seat, minus like John Harbaugh and Andy Reid, and because of how good the names out there are.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And Vrabel also, just to add, didn't want AJ Brown to leave either. Like
You saw it on draft night. He was mad. He was mad that they just said, you know what, just ship him out.
Also, I saw a thing from one of the Eagles accounts, like his record with AJ Brown versus years without AJ Brown.
Three playoff appearances. That infamous Week 17 game back in 2018, where it was the Titans or the Colts, whoever gets in the playoffs, winner take all. And that was Andrew Luck's final run in the league.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah, so, and we have also seen a lot of coordinators get fired. The Jaguars fired both of their coordinators. So did the Bears fired everyone basically on the offensive side. Defensive side, I mean, it was that guy that apparently had his FBI house raided by the FBI.
Eberflus was also the DC. So
yeah, I mean, he took over after they fired that guy.
How many times are we going to do that though with this guy? Like they start out being terrible, and they end the season on a high, and we can do this again. So what happens again next year when they start out low again? Is Justin Fields going to play himself back into being a quarterback again?
Well, I mean, unless they trade away Fields. I mean, that's the question mark for the Bears.
Well, no, it sounds like they're going to just ride the course. They're going to get Fields a new OC and run it back.
They're on the course of, this year was unfortunate. We could just
they're jetsing it.
Yeah,
they're really jetsing it. Like, we're going to fix small things and ignore the big ones.
And there's another team that I have in mind, but I forget who it was. But there's only so many years you can do that. That's true.
And also one of probably the hottest coordinators in the league right now, Detroit Lions OC Ben Johnson, who now has the Titans throwing in an interview request for him. So that makes Washington, Carolina, the Chargers, now Tennessee. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting the next couple weeks of who's going to be hiring what. You're not allowed to have. I'm not sure how the interview process is going to be. If you can't have interviews until a certain time. I think it was like the 21st of January. You can have in-person interviews.
They start changing that.
If you don't have a job, so like Harbaugh, for example, he could just interview wherever he wants to, like right now in person. They don't need to wait because he's not tied to an NFL team.
Remember how sketchy that was last year?
Yeah, thanks, Gannon.
Yeah, I mean, Bieniemy too. Like week leading up to Super Bowl, it was like, oh yeah, no, can we interview him now? And it was and they did. It was a Zoom one. And it was
already hired him.
Man. Sketchy. You mean? Just basically, pretty much. It was weird last year. That was just a weird situation. I didn't really like that, but But I guess I kind of get it because if you're a team, you're not in the playoffs. Why should you care about the playoffs? You know,
why should you have to wait?
better yourself now. Why would you have? It's weird.
I just went on my Facebook memories and I saw 5 years ago they just hired Adam Gaze. Man, I hated that
That worked out.
terribly. Any final thoughts on the coaching stuff? Or I mean, circle back next week. Let's figure it out. You know,
I mean,
as we find more information.
besides the fact that I think Vrabel would be the perfect coach for the Panthers.
He really could.
I don't even know if he would want that job. That team just needs a lot of
Why
work.
not?
Again,
Why
that
not?
wasn't the point. The point was, I think if they should hire anybody, that's the guy, or Belichick, someone that like is established who can tell Tepper to go back in his office and drink his coffee.
Hard-nosed coach, a guy that can bring a defense together because there's talent on that defense, very much so.
Yeah, the defense is like where like everything is on the team. It's the offense that needs a lot of fixing.
But
That was Matt Rule.
that defense was not good last year when it kind of should have been. So it's like, Vrabel would be a great person. You need a stern, hard-nosed coach to walk into that situation and do it all right and kind of reset.
Wink
culture.
Martindale too is kind of.
Yeah,
I mean, but he's proven he's not really.
He doesn't want to be a coach. He
He's
just
not
wants
a
to be
good
he just wants to be a defensive coordinator. Just let it ride.
I think if you have an opening, I think Vrabel is kind of. There's not many places Vrabel would not be good for. So I do look forward to seeing where he goes, and that could be somewhere he's at for a long time.
Please, Philly.
So
the injury update for anything that we know Sam Laporta hyperextended knee, bone bruise after a weird low hit against the Vikings week 18. Not expected to play against the incoming Matthew Stafford game that will be happening on Sunday Night Football. So that's an injury to watch out for if he can honestly play, because we know Travis Kelce had the same injury. He ended up playing through, but he wasn't the same player as we knew because he's obviously was hurting for the entire season. TJ Watt was ruled out after having a grade 2 MCL sprain after his play ran into his knee. So that's, as a Steelers, it's not really good if you don't have your best player on the team out on the field. So, yep, next man up. Neither just, Alex Highsmith has to be, rocking and rolling from that other side, hopefully trying to take down Josh Allen in that case.
JJ Watt?
Yeah, JJ Watt. I mean, hey, he got thrown in that uniform. Who's going to know? Just don't take the helmet off. Put on a dark Oakley visor. No one will know.
he's visited them and worked out, by the way, during the season in their facilities because they let him because he's visiting his brother and stuff. So it is kind of.
He literally said on Pat's show that like if he was ever like this whole season, his only considerations of getting off his couch were if Houston came calling or if Pittsburgh came calling.
Yeah.
Honestly, if that's someone, I mean that's the person who I would want off the couch.
He's still the dude. Like, I mean, he can still play.
And I don't really know of any else of like injuries. I know Rashee Rice was dealing with like a quad hamstring injury, so he was kind of like ruled out against the Chargers week 18. Yeah, then we know Travis Kelce just needs a whole lot of like just rest and whatnot. Dolphins, Jalen Wild should be coming back this week. I mean, he was pretty close to returning last week. Couldn't get it going, so he's going to be, hopefully going back against that really chilly Saturday night game in Arrowhead Stadium. So,
dude,
some more speed for the Dolphins that they desperately need.
We're looking at -2 degrees.
Negative degrees, at least with the wind chill.
Rough.
One of the coldest, at least one of the coldest playoff games. Not the coldest, but it's going to be up there with weather-wise.
That is brutal.
Actually. And I'm not too sure if Amari Cooper's been practicing this week because I know he's been dealing with the heel injury.
I really thought they were on like a plan of we're not really playing him.
Yeah, rest
because he'll be available by the time. So I mean, maybe I don't know.
So Amari Cooper's ready to return this week. So yeah, he's going to be coming back. He's going to be playing, and maybe he might torch for another 265 and 2 scores. Who knows?
Huh?
In the traditional Houston Texans time slot of Saturday playoff games, always at 4:30, never anything less. So Dom came up. Dom and I were texting today, and he pitched this idea and I want to let him have the floor, kind of describe it and what we're going to be doing over the next 4 weeks, maybe 5 if you want to include the Pro Bowl, but at least 4 weeks of stuff that will be discussing here. So Dom, I'll let you take the floor here. Let me get that lower third off you.
Okay. So I'm thinking we're gonna kind of, as we go through these weeks of the playoffs, these rounds of the playoffs, wild card, divisional conference, all that stuff, Super Bowl. We each tell a memory or like tell our personal kind of one of our favorite moments from that round.
Story time.
Yeah, story time, little story time. Small story, brief story time.
Everyone gather around.
Our favorite.
We don't know how to be brief.
We don't. That's all. That's why I'm trying to emphasize the brief part. I mean, just tell kind of one of our favorite moments from that round historically for us. What we saw. Maybe we were watching something that was exciting. A show and tell, and we will be doing that with.
We are kindergartners.
We are right. So show
Our
and
average IQ is about 8.5.
because
drive that down.
We'll make videos. We'll make videos or clips or whatever and put it on TikTok and social media and whatnot of us saying that and, throwing that clip in there, a little blast from the past moments and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Each of us share a moment from playoffs because, there's nothing quite like a playoff moment in sports, in life, period. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, it's your
I'll go
idea.
first.
Go ahead.
Here, let me get you full screen
Wait,
here. Let's get this.
Okay, so playoff moment that personally I really remember, and one of the first ones to come to my mind, and I feel like you guys, this might have came to one of your minds too. Past the double doink. I know we all think of the double doink because that's just funny and it is what it is. But I forget the year. Maybe Will could help me with the year, but the Tim Tebow single and only
2012.
2012.
That was my other one.
It wasn't?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm historically not a Denver Broncos fan, period. But watching that moment, I remember that was also the first playoffs where it was like, oh, hey, new overtime rules. This is how it goes, blah, blah, blah. You can go down, kick a field goal. They had explained explicitly and with the written stuff out on the graphics for like 2 whole minutes, explain how overtime works from here on out. I remember that. And then didn't matter because Tim Tebow and Josh McDaniels as coach, right?
Yes.
Boom.
No, that wasn't. No, that was John Fox's coach.
Yeah, just got fired.
Just got fired.
Got fired.
John Fox was in his first year.
That's right.
It was Kyle Orr, and then they had to revert to the Catholic man.
The Tebow time, Linsanity before Linsanity.
Yeah. So just that one throw, Demaryius Thomas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also legend, Demaryius Thomas. So there's some meaning there too. Yeah. And then that play against the Steelers. Sorry, Colton. I mean, what a magical moment. And just so funny. What I remember the most of that, other than the specific play and moment, was the huge explanation and excitement for this whole new overtime rules thing. And it didn't matter. Did not matter. They threw that right out the window because they said, nah, score, end of the game, done, playoff moment. So, yeah, that was mine, personally.
All right.
Jake,
well, because I had 2 big moments because they were both.
I'll let Jake go because I do have a couple ones. I don't think he'll be taking any of them. So
I don't think he'll take mine.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go
I had
second.
a feeling Don was going to take that one.
You did? So I did. That was one of yours, huh?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Because like I like Tim Tebow. I like Tim Tebow a lot.
Yeah.
And it always is kind of funny when the Steelers lose in hilarious fashion. But the number one moment that I always think about in the wild card round was Andy Reid's first year in Kansas City, right after getting fired by the Eagles. And I just remember how angry the city was still at Andy before he became Uncle Andy, and his clock mismanagement and his bad timeouts and his choking leads, to then in his very first season to rookie Andrew Luck the biggest comeback in playoff history because he choked away the clock in like the third quarter. And I just remember with my dad saying, "Oh my God, this is a classic Andy Reid game." Like there was no more evident Andy Reid game before winning the Super Bowl and becoming Uncle Andy than this game.
Was that Alex Smith in that game?
So
No.
I was actually going to pick this game. I'll read you the stats right now because I wanted to make sure it was correct. So
Wow.
here's a blast from the past. Niall Davis.
Hmm.
Do you remember him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have not heard that.
Dwayne
Bowe.
Bowe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Donald Brown's breakout season after Peyton Manning left.
Was Jamal Charles still on that team?
Mhm.
Yes, Jamal
Wow.
Charles was still there.
Wow.
T.Y. Hilton, 224, 13 catches, 2 scores. Andrew Luck, fumble recovery score, 4 passing
The
touchdowns.
ball up and dives into the end zone.
That-
Over everyone.
Wow.
That was the go-ahead touchdown, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
it was. Wasn't it? Wow, man.
Kobe
I
Fleener.
remember this entire game. Like
Kobe
it
Fleener.
would-
Kobe Fleener, yeah.
Dexter McCluster.
Gosh.
Anthony Fasano, if you remember him way back in the day, tight end.
do you remember when Dexter McCluster
Johnny Avery.
was the next Devin Hester?
Oh, yeah. He was a guy at one point.
AJ Jenkins. LaRon Landry was on this team. Antoine Bethea, Jarrell Freeman, Vontae Davis before he decided to retire, 4 years later at halftime. Darius Butler,
Wow. Didn't realize he was on any
Pat.
of those teams.
Eugene Francois, the defensive tackle, former Niner.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The fact that Will had that on his board too is
'Cause that's an all-timer.
Yeah.
It is an old timer.
That was like
Man.
it was Andrew Luck's like big coming out party, and Andy's first like after
Yeah.
like having a really good season in Kansas City, rehabbing his image after a couple of down years in Philadelphia, and just the sentiment, especially with the sentiment around here in where a lot of Eagles fans are,
Yeah.
like it had run its course, and a lot of us were fed up. Like the old joke that I remember I used to tell them all the time. If Andy Reid could just handle the clock like he handles a ham sandwich, we wouldn't have these problems.
I love that.
And then he handles the clock exactly like that again.
Was Chip Kelly the Eagles coach at this moment?
Yes, he
too?
was.
Oh man,
That's
that
what
is-
when we choked the Saints game away.
that's brutal.
It was like the next day.
that's wild. Wow, that's an interesting one. We're definitely going to show that Andrew Luck touchdown during that. the clip.
Obviously. I mean, how can you not? That's like you think of that game, you think of that, and then you think of T.Y. Hilton on the deep bomb at the end of the game, 4 minutes to go.
All right, well,
I can remember where I was watching the like those final
Should I-
scores.
Should I read Colton's because Colton did text us his.
Sure.
Yeah,
I liked it. So
Alright.
he says easily. Wait, let me make sure I get the right one here.
I could give you the floor if you want.
Well, I don't know because
Alright,
hold on, I'm just gonna do this. So, Colton says it has to be the Saints Steelers back in the 2015-16 playoffs, where AJ McCarron, blast from the past, throws it. AJ Green dips out of Gay's tackle, walks into the end zone. Everyone's like, "Can the Bengals end their streak of losing in the wild card?" They get a key interception from Big Ben. Everyone's losing it. And then lo and behold, guess who fumbles the football? Giovanni Bernard. And then Vontaze Burfict hits Antonio Brown, which leads to, other things that go down the line. And then Boswell, I don't know if it was Boswell or Sweezum, but it was one of those two, kicks the game-winning kick, deflating Bengals fans for, years to come.
I think this was Killer Bees era, so Boswell was there.
He said
I
that.
I definitely didn't watch this game.
I was at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
I can tell you exactly where I
remember that.
was when this happened.
You too?
Yeah, because
Jeez.
that was the Eagles played the next game.
Okay.
Or I think it was the Vikings Saints the next game. I think.
What is the Vikings Saints?
I believe it was.
Like the Case Keenum Vikings Saints one?
I think so.
No,
that-
that wasn't the same year. This
I
was
don't
this was the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl. So this is like
Okay, so I just remember I was whatever like we figured that game was done. So we're about to go out to watch the night game. So we get in the car to listen to the radio for the Neil, run it out, and go watch the night game. We listened to that in the car going to the bar.
Oh, that's cool.
All of the shenaniganery.
That's cool.
And we're highly confused.
Can you repeat that word? Shenanigans?
That is so great. Too.
Shenaniganery?
Said it like it was such a word people said.
Just said it like, oh, hey, in my
Nonstop.
scientific, exploration here, the shenanigans here.
The IQ's all right here, and then all of you guys negative, bring it down.
There you go. What year was that, Will?
What, the Bengals choke job with AJ McCarron?
What
That
year
was 2015. That was the 50th year of the Super Bowl,
Gosh.
where they painted the 50-yard line gold.
Yeah.
At every stadium.
The Cam Newton year.
The Cam Newton year. Also, I wish it was
New one.
I wish it was the Carson Palmer year, to be honest, though. Something I'll never get over.
Okay. Oh,
Where's Colton? Colton's in sunny Florida. I don't know if I want to say warm Florida or cold Florida, but he's all the way down the East Coast. We're all the way up on the East Coast, dealing with this wind and this BS weather that we're going to be going through for the next 6 days.
Cold for Florida.
Yes,
That's that.
the shenaniganery, whatever you want to call it.
Say this.
Shenanigans.
Shenaniganery.
I'm not even going to be doing that.
Shenaniganery.
But then also Colton said the Steelers easily with the Bengals nonsense. I went around the neighborhood in my underwear, as he said, because I was like, if they pull this off, I'm going to go streak. And somehow it happened. But he also said Beast Quake's also a very close second. And how can you not bring up Beast Mode?
So what you're saying is we're gonna need a video recreation of Colton doing that so I can make it a TikTok is really what it
Yeah, that's what you really.
That's what it sounds like to me. So
Colton's just writing away his life there.
yeah, he's a little bit. All right. Well, you're yours. I'm excited for yours.
And I got two because I'm a very sad Jets fan. So obviously one that comes to mind would be the AFC Championship rematch of 2010, where the Colts go into Peyton's place one final time as the 6th seed, getting in there at 11-5, which is just incredible for the AFC in that manner. Going back and forth with the Colts, I'll never forget that final drive where Brad Smith is a little banged up, so they had Antonio Cromartie return the kick. And Antonio Cromartie runs it up. He, runs out of bounds. Pat McAfee couldn't make the tackle. They're up to the 45-yard line. Sanchez throws a slant route to, I believe, Braylon Edwards. He catches it. He makes a football move, whatever you want to call that. Fumbles the ball, but he still maintains possession of it. Clock stops because it's inside 2 minutes. I'll never forget this dot that's Mark Sanchez throw to Braylon Edwards on the sideline. Toe tap and grab. Edwards throws the ball after he's down, walks away. 3 seconds left. And I'll never forget Al Michaels say, can Nick Folk make this kick and send the Jets to Foxborough? And every Colts fan was deflated that day because it was Peyton Manning's last ever game as an Indianapolis Colt.
Wow.
And that was that. And I also got another one, too, for the non-Jet fan one. I'll never forget, the discussion of Kirk Cousins. Can he win a playoff game? Can he not? They go into New Orleans in 2019, and they absolutely stun the New Orleans Saints with this just corner of the end zone pass to Kyle Rudolph, of all people. The entire place just deflated. One of the loudest stadiums, top 5 in the league, deflated. Not a peep, not a word to be said. Kirk Cousins silenced the doubter, silenced the haters. He could do it on the road. He could do it, prime time, doesn't matter. Gets it done in NOLA, of all places. So that might have to be my non-Jeff opinion for a playoff wildcard round.
Interesting. Was that the year after the Case Keenum one? No.
It was 2 years after, because 2018 they didn't do it. 2019, the 100th year of the NFL, the infamous commercial where they have all the legends and stuff try to juke everyone out. They break the tables. That's your average day in a Bills tailgate.
I like the Teddy B one. Teddy B was next year, whatever. I like the Jets one with Braylon Edwards. I like that you mentioned that because I remember that catch vividly because that was Braylon Edwards like at the end of his career a little bit.
And
right?
he wasn't even old. He was like 26 at the time. And then, his freaking And it all ended after that because he went to the Niners, didn't really do anything, and he was out of the league just 2 years later.
That was like the last substantial Braylon Edwards moment, I feel like.
Yeah.
I remember that toe tap.
I missed that team. I really do.
I'm sure you do.
You know, the last time they were in the playoffs, I was 13 years old. I turned 27 in March. I've went half of my life without seeing the Jets in the fucking postseason. I am so over it.
Jesus, what?
I remember watching that game on a dinosaur television, you know, with the big backs and all that stuff. You could hold a magnet over it, mess up the colors. I remember that watching that game. I remember I was playing Xbox. I was just like, I was in the football, but I was not that in the football. I remember turning on the game and I literally witnessed that last drive. I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And they did it.
That is something, man.
So yes, I'm just
One, just
miserable.
incredibly old.
13 years old.
Two, wow, the Jets are bad.
They have the longest drought by like
And he's
twice the
North American team.
Now, Dom, imagine Buffalo Sabres fans.
Oh,
I know this is hockey versus football, but I can tell you the last time that they were in the playoffs.
Yeah, 2011. They were just there like 4 months later.
We were in middle school.
Well, that's
You're about to graduate middle school.
so wild.
Uh,
Yeah, good game, everyone. That was good. That was some great reminiscing, to be honest. Some
yeah,
moment.
that was a great therapy session for me.
That was
You know, you got to talk about your problems.
13 years in the making, actually. That's wild. That's cool.
I remember too, because it was what year? That was 2011. Madden 2011 had a moment about that, but you had to be the Colts and you had to come back.
How much?
Oh, and they had the playoff moments.
Yeah.
They had every week had a moment and all that stuff, and you had to go back through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And then
remember that.
they had I remember they came out with a set of moments beforehand, but like you had the Super Bowl one with the Saints and the Colts, and you had to come back from 14 down with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah.
On all Madden
That was cool.
goal. Man.
That'd be cool to put some of
Remember they
this.
put into stuff. Remember when they actually put like meaning into sports games and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Remember when it wasn't just all Ultimate Team?
it's true.
I miss when Ultimate Team wasn't about money. It was just you can actually like play the game and you don't have to worry about having to buy
When?
shit. 2011, 2012, 2013. Peak years of mutt back in my day. As I pull out the walker here and I gotta get to there. I feel like Chad. Back in my day. Remember that, Dom? Those were the
Yeah.
days.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, 4 years ago, COVID happened. I still think I have to go back to school because still have those 2 months to finish.
I guess that's true.
Never get that time back. Enough reminiscing about the retirement home here. Let's go back into this. Favorite games and moments from Week 18 that stood out to you, if any, if all.
Nothing. Current NFL is just nothing but black.
You want to start reminiscing about other Week 18s? Want to talk about the game? Raiders, Chargers. Oh, hey, if they tie, they could both go to the playoffs. Brandon Staley. No, I want timeout. No, I'm not doing this.
If we were doing favorite all time Week
Choke
18
jobs?
moments, this could just be a whole Brandon Staley segment.
Yeah, that's true. That is a
Mike
fact.
Williams, you have to catch this ball in this play. I promise you won't break your back.
Breaks his back.
You have to go out on this deep ball. You have to get this ball on the screen. I promise you won't tear your ACL.
No.
That
Or
is me.
speed to tear his ACL.
I'm
Yeah, see,
starting
that's
my
the
players
difference.
so that we
Are ready for the playoffs.
end the regular season on a good note.
I think they
Going
will,
into
too.
playoffs.
Is there a bigger
Didn't they lose?
overthinking things than Brandon Staley?
It's just being wrong, bro. Like what? Clearly one of the most wrong things we've ever seen. Yeah, let's end on a good note. Such a great note. Stars injured. What great note there, bro.
I gotta be the
And they lost.
analytical mastermind. We can't just tie.
And they lost. They lost that game. So it's like what? Everything about it was bad. That was
Mr. Math didn't do very much good math that day.
it's one of my favorite games and moments from Week 18. Well, is just Week 18 not including Brandon Staley this year. There you go. Write it off. That's all I got. I don't know.
All right, tax write-off. Here we go. Dom not having to watch Brandon Staley. Okay. IRS has it.
It's my
Uh,
tax write off.
man. I don't know. I would have to say the Jets, man, actually beating Bill. I mean, the first game that Bill played against the Jets, Bill lost. Maybe his last game against the Jets, which was this past Sunday, a loss.
Wasn't that the first time the Jets had won in like 15 meetings?
Last time they won, I was a freshman in college, and I was at the game that they beat the Patriots. Let me just make you really feel old, okay? 2015, week 16. It was like 65 degrees for a week 16 game in December. Okay, that's how ridiculous the weather was for some unknown reason.
So
Quincy Enunwa gets the ball on second down, runs down the sideline. Brandon Marshall gets the inside route there, and then Eric Decker over Malcolm Butler's corner because he just blew every coverage in that side of the end zone. Jets win, and I'm like, oh wow, I might see the Jets in the playoffs. Little did I know what would happen next week. Yeah, so that has to be my favorite moment. Also, the analytics person on the sideline was trying to get Breece Hall 1,000 yards, miscalculated, messed up. He finished the year with 994.
nice, good.
Must have been Brandon Staley. I don't know who it would have been.
That's for real. Nice.
Anything for you? Favorite moments, games moments? Oh, well, you said Brandon Staley.
There you go.
All right, well, let's go into this. Let's recap here. Buy, sell, and hold on teams and players following week 18.
I'm selling this whole segment now that the season's over.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how to go about this now.
Selling the Eagles. Fuck them.
I'm selling the Titans organization.
I'll agree with that. I'm going to sell on the Titans. I'm going to sell on the Seahawks because I don't like both of those moves.
Okay.
I'll buy into the Chargers now because, maybe. I cannot have a lot of hope, but I want to have a little hope that they will steer the ship correctly.
That's a hard hold on the California teams.
Yeah.
Well, besides the Niners.
I'll buy into Washington. I think whoever they can get in there, I would love to see them turn it around. A new stadium, do everything. I think I think they could turn around if they could keep Eric Bieniemy, which who knows if that can happen. I don't know. I think they could honestly turn it around, especially almost a year after the Dan Snyder saga ended. So I would have to think that.
I'm buying whatever future team grabs Vrabel, and I'm holding on to the Panthers because maybe they could make a smart decision here. We'll see. It's all Tepper.
Hold. I don't know who I want to hold on here. I really don't know.
The NFL as a whole, because we're going in a different season.
I'm gonna sell on the fact that Scott Hansen won't be on my TV anymore. I can't watch NFL Red Zone, so I'm not gonna know what happiness is like until September.
Fair.
I don't watch Red Zone anyway, so
Greatest invention of all sports. ESPN was just in it for the money for their frozen Red Zone or whatever they want to call it.
That had commercials.
Well, they also, one, was not their idea.
No.
Two, that was executed horribly, like typical hockey things.
Poorly.
Uh-oh. What happened here? Nick Saban is retiring?
Wait, what?
Whoa. What the hell? Nick Saban is retiring as Alabama head. What the hell is...
No way.
That cannot be real.
Adam Schefter quoted this guy. This guy claims he works for ESPN. He's followed by some notable people that I follow at least. He's followed by the ESPN vice president and executive producer. So Nick Saban,
I don't see anything on Rapid.
future Dolphins head coach. I'm gonna book it right now. Let me.
Totally leaving the program.
Wow.
Bama's now off the map now with the new SEC. No, I don't want to do this here.
What is Bama football now?
Apparently that was yesterday.
That was not yesterday. So I think Nick Saban's going to be the next coach of the Miami Dolphins. I just made the greatest Photoshop of all time as him as a Miami Dolphins head coach. Here it is. It's done. It's over with. I think he could do great things for the Miami organization.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not biting into that one.
Oh, here we go. Jeez, but that is
that's wild.
That is honestly one of the biggest shockers of
Ari Miroff said it.
Hey man, head coach news in the past 36 hours has been shocking. And Nick Saban.
Now you would have to think who's going to be leaving Alabama. There has to be a lot of recruits that are
Well,
be
they're gone.
leaving.
That's going to be an exodus.
That's wild.
That portal.
How long is the transfer portal open for? Is it open for like a while then?
Oh, it's open. It's open to enough to lose their entire program.
That is nuts, if I'm going to be honest. That is actually.
There's another window anyway. Like there's one other whole window, even if this one is closed.
I don't know. That is like the most wildest thing. Just
I should honestly like FaceTime my sister on recording right now because she graduated from Alabama and talks endless crap about Alabama to about Penn State.
How old is he? He's in his 70s.
He's like 70.
Yeah.
He's like Belichick's age. Yeah, he's pretty old.
Imagine Belichick goes somewhere, Saban advises.
Hey, Bill Belichick goes to Bama?
That would, I mean, he's also not young. Like, it's not like, Belichick's certainly not young. So that
He's a
wouldn't-
year older than Belichick. He's
Yeah.
72.
That wouldn't last that much longer.
But damn, that is
Yeah, that's something, huh?
wow.
That was news. That was
That there's
That
not really many times that you get live news like that, but
no.
holy crap, that is just a
Happened to
bomb,
us.
that's bombshell. That's a bombshell right there.
What a bombshell.
That's yeah. Oh, the one of the best,
Most
College
successful
coaches.
college coaches ever.
the most successful. Well, national championship wise.
Yeah, that's the end of an era for sure. Like that's the end.
Finally, now we get to see Vanderbilt become the team of the SEC. I've been waiting for this for a while now.
That's like Brady
So-
being done right
So is
there.
like Texas going to come in and be an immediate
We're back.
SEC powerhouse team?
That's wild.
What them and Georgia essentially?
Well, yeah, they're on opposite sides of the divisions though.
Yeah.
So like,
Damn, that's just.
LSU too.
I don't even know what to think
That's
now.
wild. That just blew my mind.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I
The-
mean, I was just looking at my phone, and Schefter's just like another coaching shocker.
Oh yeah, no, it's real. It's
I-
100% real.
I would have felt like, oh, hey, maybe a well-respected offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. No, just it's Nick Saban. Just treats that as if it's like nothing. Good old Shefty.
Wow. Okay. Damn.
All right, and here we go. Super wildcard weekend preview. Here we go. We go from 32 teams playing the last 5 weeks of the season, now down to 14 different teams. This is I don't know if you want to say it's sad that you see football going away. I'm a little sad. Football is like my number one sport I like to watch and just follow. So it's sad just seeing the field, go down 18 teams, and now we just go down to the playoffs. Playoffs are exciting though. I'd
Yeah.
have to admit that.
For a lot of fans,
This is usually the most exciting week of the entire season. The most
Yeah.
wild one.
it is.
Yeah.
Haha. This for a lot of fans, this is stress-free football for once. This
Yeah,
season.
I mean, stress-free teams for 10 teams. The other 8 teams that still had some hopes and
Yeah.
whatnot.
They're out now. So, stress-free now for them. And then for a lot of teams and fans, this is the most stressful football gets. So, I mean, it's a fun time.
Not when your team already quit.
Oh, wow. That's kind of funny. It's true. All right.
Wow. And I'm going to get us into this section, this spot right here. We got that, and we're going to show up the picks for one final time this season. Let me get this banner off as well. Here's what we're looking at following this week. Colton wins the picks with 177 correct. Jake goes in second with 171. I fall out of the pit of misery. I'm not there anymore. I did it.
Will had the best week last week. We all went 11
Yes.
and 5. Will went 12 and 4.
Thank you, New
To
York.
cap it off, and I choked the entire second half of the season.
Hey, he did the Atlanta Falcons thing.
Did all of the Atlanta Falcons things. Jake split middle, by the way. Split middle from me to Colton. Completely split it. 6 above, 6 below. That's kind of wild.
It's
Gaps
wild.
above and beyond. or
I
above and below.
started like 5 games down.
Yeah, you know, you came back.
Yeah, he clawed his way out of that pit of misery before he started getting
I,
foggy. and shit.
dominant. I told you as I was climbing up, just
Hold
right on the
me
belt.
down. Yeah,
Right on the belt. Just nope.
that's a fact. That is true. And Colton just and strong.
Yeah, just taking the lead and just running with it.
Yep, conservatively won all the picks. So, what a year!
Well, let's
There you go.
oh,
ESPN reports it.
on the
Breaking
Saban
news.
news.
My phone is going nuts right now.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
And let's get Colton's picks on here because he went halfway through the picks and just forgot the rest of the matchup. So
yeah.
he had to send the second video. He was calling me at 9 a.m. I'm sleeping. I'm like, I just want to sleep, man.
Yeah.
So here's what Colton has for the entire weekend of Super Wildcard Weekend.
All right, boys. So I remember all the games now. So go Blue, go Steelers. So for me, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Detroit. I think they get it done. That might be one of the best games of the weekend. Detroit and the Rams. Stafford going back to Detroit. Great seeing that. And I think Cleveland gets it done. I can't wait to watch the game. I think C.J. Stroud is one of the best young quarterbacks in the league that we've seen. That's what I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be, what C.J. Stroud is. Of course, the same division. But for me, I'm taking the Texans to lose at home to Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco. So enjoy Wild Card Weekend. And again, thank you, boys, for a great season of the podcast. Can't wait for the postseason run. And here we go, Steelers. And shout out to the victors. Hail to the victors. Michigan versus everybody. Go Blue.
I tell you what, I'm a little bit disappointed. It
Hey,
wasn't
you know who scored the most amount of points against Michigan this season?
Who?
Go Terps. That's all I have to say. Twice. Last season and this season. I don't even know if he got all the picks here or not. I don't think he said that.
He missed the Eagles game.
he did.
I don't think he had the Dolphins game. Did he have the Dolphins?
No, I think he said Fins in the first one. I think he said Fins in the first. We don't have to listen to that.
Yeah, I'm not listening to
Minute
it
and a half.
again. I'm happy for you. Sorry for your loss. I don't really know.
Okay. Oh, he wrote him. You write him.
No, Will wrote it.
I did. I wrote him in as the video was going.
You wrote Miami. I don't know. Unless you
I
did.
don't know.
that.
You said Miami, so I was like, okay, I'm going to write Miami in here.
Could be
I got
so
it right.
wrong. I could be so wrong. It's okay. It's all right. We'll have to get it from him during the week.
Dom being blind and oblivious as always.
All right, that's all right. He might have said Kansas City versus Fins.
I don't know. I'll re-listen to these videos. I'll figure it out just so we get the accurate thing. If he did miss one, not surprised.
You're right.
Does someone want to explain how we're doing this? Because we're doing it differently.
I don't really know how we're doing it, so
We're not
Dom
doing
can.
this round any different.
Well, no, we're still doing assigning a point value to the wild card games,
Yeah, well,
and then
This week's
doing
Are we gonna make it like a March Madness thing, like a March
Yes.
Madness bracket, where it's like here one round gets 1 point,
Yeah.
2
Yes.
points, 4.
100%.
Okay,
but this week's pretty regular at least.
yeah,
It's
this is as
it's
regular as we can
after-
get.
after these games, the bracket will lock and we'll pick through.
2 points. Yeah, I like that.
But yes, the Houston Texans are back in the playoffs after 2 really down seasons. Deshaun Watson gets traded. Didn't really look that good for the Texans going into the season. They shocked the world and they shocked the AFC South. They get into the postseason, host a playoff game, and they return to their time slot, 4:30 on Saturday. There's no other time that they get in the playoffs in the wild card round besides 4:30. Look it up. It's facts. It's historic. But yes, Cleveland Browns return to the playoffs too. First time after the Baker Mayfield era. They go in with Joe Flacco, who needs 1 win to break Tom Brady for the most road wins in playoff history.
Good for that, man.
And they battle at 4:30 Saturday on NBC. So I don't know. Do we want to go one by one here?
Well, first of all, what's wild is those on the road wins were mostly against like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady,
Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I think they were all were.
and then
They
probably
literally all
Big
probably
Ben.
were.
No, he lost to Big Ben on the road twice. He beat Chad Pennington and the Dolphins the 1 year. I forgot who they played in 2008. It should have been San Diego.
It's all right.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, like the names on that list of those road victories are not.
Well, he played against Ed Reed. He played against Troy Polamalu. All these really fierce, corners, and it's just here's Jalen Petrie and Derek Stingley. He's not scared.
No, he's not scared of anybody playing in this league anymore.
But yes, who do we have here? I'm taking Cleveland. I think that's the most appropriate pick here. I think this team is too young to. I'm not saying they're too young to compete, but I don't think so. I really don't believe in them.
I'm going to take Cleveland just because I really liked how they've ended the season. I mean, they're on a high for sure. They're on a high right now. And so is their offense, Amari Cooper, Joe Flacco. I mean, the team's definitely on a high going into this with a lot of momentum. I know CJ Stroud is too, but I don't know. It's just I'm taking experience over, I guess, talent. So,
Well, I'm going to play the game even though I think they can win. I'm going to take Houston because nobody else is going to. So
I like it.
I don't think Houston has lost in this time slot. I don't think so. They
mean?
beat the Bengals twice.
Pats murdered them the one.
Well, no, they went to New England with Brock Osweiler, but like they beat the Bengals twice, then they beat the Raiders. They had that game against the Bills.
Collapse against Kansas City.
I'm just saying they're undefeated in the wild card round when they're playing at 4:30 on Saturday, but that's the only time they play.
So it's so random.
Okay. I don't know what you were trying to add there, but they
Here we go.
lost games.
Okay, here we go.
Around, only play
I'm just saying wild card round. I'm not saying overall. I mean, we know they got demolished by the Ravens.
Were those
And,
Those are wild card games.
no, they never played them on the road.
Oh, you're saying at home?
Yeah, at home.
Oh,
I said wild card games. We know they lost to the Chiefs
Well,
in the divisional round.
could
We
be
know they got
on the road.
absolutely dismantled by the Patriots
Be
too.
on the road in a wild card
yeah.
game.
You
What are
could
you
be on the
talking
road in a
about?
wild card. You didn't say at home. That's where I was.
You just said wild card.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. At home is a different story. Then if they're undefeated at home wild card weekend, then that's
So what? They won the wild card weekend 2011, 2012.
Home?
No, then they lost. They got blown up at the Chiefs in 2015.
They got blown out a few times in a row.
How did I?
The JJ Watt years.
Forget
Like
about
a couple of years consistently.
Oh yeah, then the Colts. Yeah. Okay. I'm wrong. You're right. Okay, let's go into this one. We have the Miami Dolphins, who at the end of November looked like they were going to secure the AFC East. The odds-on favorite to win the East, probably run the playoffs through Miami. They blow at the end of the season. They win they win 2 out of their last 4.
So here's a stat. Since week 8, they have a losing record. They went 4-5 since week 8.
You mean since getting Chase Claypool?
Chase
Also
Claypool.
true. Also extremely true what Jake just said. Yeah, no. But so
Also,
I don't like
Pittsburgh's
that.
record since getting rid of him,
exactly,
and the
Chicago's-
and the Bears record since
Yeah.
getting rid of him.
it's just a bad time all the way around. So yeah, no, I just don't like that. Not that Kansas City's really been that much better because they haven't at all, but I would definitely favor Kansas City at home in -2-degree weather.
Now Miami has to deal with the cold weather because they
Yeah,
choked away the division.
yeah, that was a real thing to play for them too.
And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who have not been strong. They
Yeah.
could have secured the playoff berth, over several weeks. They beat the Bengals week 17 to secure their spot in the dance. Yeah, they're not looking too hot either, but the weather ain't hot either. They're 7 degrees at kickoff. That's what they're calling. 7 degrees at kickoff as the
Okay,
Dolphins. As if Colton was here, they finally got it. Tyreek Hill's return to Kansas City is there. I will be taking Kansas City because I don't trust the fish cold. As you guys are doing your own little thing here.
Jake's foot just hit my chair thing, and my chair just went down like 4 inches. It probably looked really funny on the screen. I'll have to go back and check that. That was something. Yeah, no, I picked Kansas City. I picked Kansas City. So. -2 degrees at one point.
I didn't hear a word you just.
So it's going to be 8 degrees as a high on Saturday, and the low is going to be -6.
What about the wind chill?
Is that's not even with wind chill?
That's not even. I mean, you can't really look
20,
that far.
-20?
Bro, I'm sorry, but okay. Didn't Tua prove that maybe no?
No, he was.
Was that a different? That might have been.
Car, probably.
No. Was it Trevor Lawrence? No. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I thought there was a game last year. Yeah, no, it was. It was Tua playing in Buffalo, and they won last year. And it was like all like, Tua going to the cold, probably won't be able to do it, but Tua did last year. But I can tell you, it definitely wasn't -8 or wind chill -15 or whatever. So
I thought you were talking about. I think wasn't it Burrow though in the snow game?
Yeah, it was Burrow. It could have been Burrow.
I could have swore.
I see. Now you're confusing me.
I don't know. Either way, no matter what, I'm not taking the Dolphins in this game because it is way too cold.
Yep.
Way too cold, bro.
It's cold for both teams too. Like someone's gonna be, just
The only player that could do the thing is probably Tyreek Hill because he played in Kansas City in the cold. So, okay. But the rest of the team, I don't know, man.
I mean, going from 80 degrees, Friday before a flight to now going to, an 80-degree difference essentially.
Oh, you mean Odell and the wide receivers?
Well, I mean, he lives in Miami, so it's like
That was the boat picture. That was the whole point of it. Was he
Yeah.
went to Miami
Oh,
and then
that's
had to go
right.
play a cold ass game in Green Bay.
That's true.
That was the entire point of why that was stupid.
yeah.
didn't go to practice. Oh, hey, we're gonna celebrate.
It's weird. Yeah, so okay, there it is. Cold.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
So
Not picking the cold.
not picking the cold.
Or not picking against the cold. Sorry.
We're picking with the cold.
Definitely
The
picking.
team that plays in the cold more.
Yeah. I'm going with cold winning this game.
And then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, with Mason Rudolph under helm, they score a lot of points.
Yeah.
They score a lot of points. The offense looks a lot better with Mason Rudolph under center. But the question mark is, the question now is who's going to step up in the TJ Watt spot against no team that's hotter than the Buffalo Bills right now, who look dead in the water. 12 seed. They ain't making the postseason. They ain't doing this. They ain't doing that. Win 5 straight, secure the East. Now they get to host a playoff game as the number 2 seed in the AFC.
So stat. Here we go. Here's a little stat for you. The Steelers have only thrown 12 passing touchdowns this season. No quarterback on the roster has thrown more than, I think, 8. Or maybe even more than 6. So, I mean, that's, for me, pretty impossible to pick in a playoff game. Against what? The quarterback in the league that's scored the most touchdowns? I mean,
Yeah, the most total touchdowns.
so he's Josh Allen, though, gives away the ball consistently. And this is not a defense you want to give the ball away to, and he will give the ball away, I would think. I will take him scoring 4 times or more touchdowns than the entire Steelers team in the past game. I'll take Josh Allen and the Bills on that one. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, Pittsburgh stinks.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one.
That's going to be cold there too. It's going to be pretty freezing. I think they even
Also-
said a negative wind chill.
But
both teams.
Pittsburgh gets freaking cold.
Yeah. Both teams are in the cold, so that's okay. But yeah. What'd you pick, Will? You went
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Got it.
Colton is lone wolfing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously,
Yeah, he's not gonna.
he's not going to switch.
No.
And then we got the Green Bay Packers, who have the third youngest roster in NFL history since 1977 to make the postseason. They have 18 players who were born after 2000 on the roster. Also ridiculous. And you got one of the best rising quarterbacks in Jordan Love, who had a lot of questions going into the season. Can he be the guy? Can he do this? Can he do that? Gets the Packers back into the postseason. Eliminate those Aaron Rodgers talks. They don't need Rodgers. They need Jordan Love. And they go against Dallas, who infamously is a very questionable team at points. Clock management, all that stuff. Ticking situations. The playoffs are just riddled with, is Dallas this, is Dallas that. Mike McCarthy gets to go against his former team. He's 0-1 all time. And the only time they met was last season, where the Packers went against each other, and that was that. So where are we going on this game here?
Yeah, Green Bay with all the momentum, I get that, but it's just I think it's too young, it's too inexperienced, I gotta go Dallas. Dallas is just more of a team.
Dallas is a really good team. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know the playoff thing with them is funny,
Yeah.
but it can't always be true.
And they broke the streak of being really, really bad last year. So, that's not really a thing hanging over their head anymore. So I feel like, a little bit of house money, playing in their own house. I don't know. I got to go with Dallas.
Yeah, they're also playing at home where they've stomped people this whole season.
That's made a big difference for them. So
I might sound ridiculous, but I'm going to lone wolf the Packers this week.
that's okay. It's playoffs, man. Anything.
It's play. I'm going to lone wolf the Packers.
There are always
If
two.
there's a team that Dallas does not want to play, I think it's the Packers.
I would say
I
the
really
Rams. I think the Rams walking in there is a big problem for them.
And the Niners.
It's not.
Well, no, the Niners wouldn't walk in there. They would be walking to the Niners.
You're right. That's true.
But I think the Packers could get it done. I mean, I think so. It's a great story with the Packers, so I'm going to be sticking with it there.
It's fair.
And then we go to the Rams. The Rams, they needed a veteran quarterback, so they trade for a guy named Matthew Stafford and trade away a young guy named Jared Goff for 2 first-round picks. They flip courses. The Rams go on to win the Super Bowl. The Lions, on the other hand, they get 2 first-round picks. They get a guy named Jared Goff. He proves himself that he's not a product of McVay. And now they meet for the second time, the Lions and the Packers. But this time, it's a primetime game in Detroit. Stafford's first time back since 2020. The Lions have not hosted a playoff game in 30 years. We got to make that known.
Wow.
In their appearances in the playoffs since then, they have lost every game. You want to speak about streaks?
The one they got absolutely hosed against Dallas, the Dez year.
Yeah.
The Brandon Pettigrew catch that, wasn't PI, but that's a topic for a different day. But yes, who do we have in a Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff bowl?
These Rams are really good.
They are. They kind of are, bro. And surprisingly, right? But also my thing with this is like Detroit, right? They did the thing a little bit to me, right? They're gonna raise a banner in this game, I think.
God.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna raise a banner in this game for doing the thing. So I mean, like, good for them. I get it. But I do think they're also going to tribute Matt Stafford, and I think that's going to taint.
That's weird.
A little bit weird, but it is his first time back. I mean, I think you have to.
I don't care. It's a playoff game.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think that taints this a little bit. And I think all the momentum Detroit could have, and the spirit, because the spirit of Detroit and the city, and this home crowd is going to be loud. But the spirit of this whole thing kind of gets a little bit tainted with it being Matt Stafford. And they might be a little motivated, but I think Matt Stafford will be a little motivated. And I just like the Rams, man. The Rams offense is really doing it. They're going to have pretty much a lot of people healthy, right? Kyron Williams has been one of the most effective, most efficient runners in this league, on top of their pass game that is borderline unstoppable at times. It's a team. As much of a team as Detroit is, this is very much a team. And Detroit has been shaky on defense at times. And I think the Rams, man, for me, it is the Rams. But, I mean,
let's really... also not forget, too, the Rams. They started 3-6, and they won their last 7 to even make it to this point. So,
true. They won
about a team that's... They won their last 7.
Their last 7 in a row.
Yeah.
Bro, that's hard to argue against. I
will be picking Detroit.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Dan Campbell has a lot to prove. He really does. I mean, the last time they were on primetime, obviously they won the game, but that's a topic about the refs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully that crew is not up in Detroit. That's that. I think Jared Goff could get it done because someone has to stick it to their former team. Last time it was Matt Stafford because the Rams beat them back in 2021. I think Jared Goff sticks it to the Rams and says, "Hey, I'm gonna be advancing in the postseason."
It would be cool. Would 100% be cool. And
listen, I mean, the Lions didn't really show a lot week 18. They really didn't. I mean, their run game was kind of like abysmal. I didn't really think they wanted to show too much on film. They kind of played as safe of a game as they possibly can.
I'm glad we split this game because I'm glad this should be the game that's very split. So.
And then we go to the Eagles. The Eagles
Monday night matchup.
The Eagles, after the 49ers game, and they had Big Dom be barred from sideline action. They haven't really won a game since the sideline ban was in play. Well, they won one game. They've been slipping a lot. I think they're 1-4 in the sideline ban. A big Dom down there. And obviously the coordinators aren't helping that much. Sean Diassi getting, his play calling stuff stripped from him. Brian Johnson calling Hail Marys like Matt Canada on the 4-yard line for some reason, and just bad play calling late in the games. And then you go into Tampa Bay, who, yet again, we spent 8 minutes and 48 seconds talking about why they are bad and why they can't do anything. They are guaranteed to be the bottom of the barrel for the NFC South. It's locked for them. Baker Mayfield comes in. I don't know. He impresses. He gave Mike Evans a career year. He made that offense look really good despite $66 million in dead cap penalty from Tom Brady and a lot of other pieces, too, they decided to move on from. They make the postseason. They host a playoff game for the 3rd straight year. And it's the 4th straight year for the Buccaneers being in the postseason, especially outside of the Tom Brady era. Where do we go on this one here? Can I say my pick?
Yeah.
I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for one thing and one thing only. It's this man right here. Let me full screen this. He has that Zyn or whatever you want to call that chewing tobacco product in his pocket there. So I'm going to say the Buccaneers win by 50 points.
Jeez. What?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jake.
I guess.
I'll be taking the Buccaneers, lone wolfing it.
I really don't know what I want to do. I really don't know what I want to do, like at all. I don't know. I think the Eagles are more built for playoffs. I think Tampa Bay is with just house money all the way around. I mean, like, who expected that, And they're doing well. They feel like the stronger team, though, unfortunately. But okay, there we go. So we have an answer. Thank you, Colton. We do have an answer. Colton's going Philly, man.
I'll write that in there.
What a guy. Forgot that game. Yeah, I'm in at the what was that called?
You made us have to think. We don't have to think on this show. You made us really question it.
Yeah, I was gonna say 11th minute, so I'm glad you said 11th hour. He came in the 11th hour there. You know what? Because he said Philly, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay.
Man, I really wanted a lone wolf.
Just to split it.
Lone wolf this game. I really wanted a lone wolf this game.
Oh wow, he's on Twitter and we get his comments. This is awesome. There was a time where we couldn't get his comment, like you couldn't get Twitter comments. Now you can get them.
Thanks, Elon.
There you go.
Jack Dorsey, you suck.
God, I kind of also still want to go Philly though, but
don't you do it
for the spirit of splitting this game. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. This is really, man. I mean, I really don't know. I think splitting this game is the right thing to do. Gosh, I don't know.
I think for the spirit, we should just say I'm allowed to just solely lone wolf the Eagles on this game.
I think Colton believes in the Eagles though on this.
Who believes in the Eagles? I don't even believe in the Eagles.
I don't know. I mean, you're going Eagles though, right? I mean, obviously, but
like Vrabel could be one of our coaching staff as early as Tuesday.
I think he's going to spend a long time. I think Vrabel's going to spend a long time looking around.
I would too.
So like, here's a question though. Can they bring in Wink Martindale like now because he's fired?
I would have to think. I mean, if he's fired,
Josh McDaniels, Patriots. Remember that was that season. Didn't he get fired and then immediately go to the Patriots like the next week or 2 weeks after? I thought that was a thing.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea.
You're asking a lot for me.
I don't know
all that brain power.
Ask Roger.
Yeah. Call him up. Oh, you remember that playoffs in like 2011, 2012? Yeah, no. Remember Josh McDaniels?
No, not the one where Tebow threw to DT and he stiff armed Dyke Taylor off the field, but this playoffs.
I think it was the previous season. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, he probably got fired after the season with the Broncos.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, if you're fired, I mean, you're free to go wherever. I mean, look at Tom Telesco. Look at Tom Telesco. Look at a lot of these other guys, too.
It's like, hey, you have an extra day to prepare for this week.
Well, who are you going with, Tom,
Actually,
here?
I'm going with Tampa Bay to split the game.
I'm filling it in here.
All right. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that rounds out our show. Wild show. Nick Saban, retiring. I mean, that wasn't on my bingo card.
No.
Does Bill Belichick get fired too? Just have, everything comes in threes. Pete got fired. Nick Saban retired. Does Bill, just part ways with New England?
Gonna exclude Vrabel. I thought that was 3.
Yeah, that's
right?
3.
That was definitely 3.
Well, I
Vrabel-
mean, old coaches, okay?
okay. Old guys, 70 or 70 plus.
Yeah. The grandpa Guns is
The yeah.
the defensive mastermind. You got Pete Carroll, then you got Nick Saban, who's just he just gets everyone to go to Bama.
Defensive mastermind.
Head coaching openings, favorite playoff memories from the wild card round. Yeah, a whole lot of stuff. Here. Follow us, though, if you want to listen to us or watch us look dumb. You can watch us on YouTube for the Fan Network. You can find us on TikTok for the Fan Network. You can also find us on Twitter and or X, however you want to call it, for the Fan _ and Instagram for the Fan Football. We also have a Facebook too. You can look up for the Fan. You can find our logo that's up in the over there. It's on the top left over there. There we are. Top right, same thing. I don't know. Raise the roof. Yeah, there we go. I got to point to the wall. That's how I have to remember it.
There you go.
As always, I'm Will. That's Jake. That's Dom. And then we got Colton here. Yo, relax.
Oh no, here we go. You should have done this one. Theoretically.
Do. Just play some John Cena theme
Well,
song.
that's why I can't see him.
Hey, I'm looking for Champ. Champ? Who is Champ?
Camp there.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Tune in next week, or you can listen to us next day on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, however you want to listen to us. But yes, 6 teams will get eliminated this week, and we'll have 2 teams that didn't play this week get talked about next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the week. Enjoy the wild card, super wild card weekend, I have to say, because there's 3 days of football that goes on there. Tune in next week. We'll break down the analysis, maybe some more coaching news.